Wraggys review. So today, not you can see it because the camera's not right. I'm reviewing this fella here, Amarillo Smash, single malt, single hop, part of a series from Lenton Lane Brewery, who were originally from Derby. Thankfully, they moved over to Nottingham, and apologies to all you people in Derby, but it's a better place. We played Premiership football. Not for 1 year at least, maybe. You never know, do you? So 4.9% it says there. All it says is single malt, single hop, single malt. With Amarillo, you should be getting citrus, sweet citrus, leading to grapefruit. And citrus on the nose, and certainly a waft of grapefruit the second I opened it. Well, anyway. Oh, just on the front garden. I'm on the decking now. I'm spring cleaning. I'm having a good go at the garden, moving things around. I've got, you know, when you've got an old dog and little babbies, protecting them from falling down things, protecting the dog from falling down things. It's all part of the equation as everybody gets older in life. And so that is where we're heading today. And done a full day of work. Does that ever matter? So golden pour, good carbonation on this as you would expect. A nice inch of white, or slightly more than an inch because of my crap pouring. And yeah, citrusy notes. Cheers all, I'm looking forward to this. Grapefruit, absolute spot on grapefruit. Into citrus there, but it's predominantly grapefruit on the taste. Yeah, this is one of their series of beers. They really are chucking out the beers these days. God knows what that was. Some sort of buggy thing. It's a dead buggy thing there. But yeah, got a pilot kit now. Although the pilot kit takes as long as to brew on the pilot kit as it does the big kit. But there you go. But the good thing about the pilot kit is Jack and the team over there at Lenton Lane can now do beers that maybe they didn't want to before, brew on the big kits, try them out, see what the general public's perception is. I mean, obviously, a lot of people use Untappd. I can't stand the bloody programme, so I don't use Untappd, never will. Went on it once. I use enough social media, to be honest. Someone says to me about going on TikTok, and I went on TikTok, and all of a sudden I'm getting dirty, strange messages. And it's like, what's this about? And so that got deleted off as well. Yeah, I'm not into all that rubbish. Straightforward. Yeah. On Instagram, you get some strange messages on Instagram at times, and I just look and think, what? Like your followers, you look and you think, well, and then the messaging, you're like, what are you messaging for? Do you think that people are gullible? I've owned a website for 20 years. I've never fell to one single hack or anything. And that's not a thing to try me either. And the website has, I haven't. And got one of the best hackers supposedly on the planet to rectify when someone hacked one of my sites, and he sorted it out, and I think he sorted them out as well, to be fair. So they got taught a little lesson. Obviously these days, you know, don't believe anything that comes via email. Yeah, I mean, unless it's a new beer from, say, Lenton Lane, then yeah, that's worth it. But if it's anything that you don't, you know, somebody saying, oh, you've won this or you've won that, or someone's got in a will and they're giving you 5 million, you know, in life, if someone was to come up on the street to you, you know, I've got here's a check for 5 million, mate, you'd think, bloke's tapped, or woman or whatever. So, yeah, in essence, most things you read and see these days are absolute tosh. And it's the sad state of the world we're in today. You know, Lots of people trying to con people and whatnot. Hey ho, strange world. So, in any case, bit of sediment in the bottom so that you can see how beers sometimes, it's a bottle conditioned beer, so there will be always that little bit of a sediment layer. So at least you've seen it from both sides of the equation. This happens a lot. There's nothing wrong with a beer, and in some ways that bit at the bottom, there's a name for it. Can I remember the name? No. There's actually a name for the sediment layer. And a lot of people love that because it's the concentrated flavours and that are actually in the sediment. So there is a name for it. Somebody in the comments was bad. If everybody watches this, because not a lot. Sometimes with the local ones, not a lot of people tune in, which is sad because it's a good beer. They're a good brewery. And they've been doing some collabing just recently. Partisan Tavern, fantastic micro pub in Nottingham. I actually worked with one of the blokes last year on the Robin Hood Beer Festival. Went down for a day to volunteer at the beer festival, going up the Odins out, and slamming these. Me and him were, and Vince Lee, we were chucking these bloody casks on, banging them on, bish bash bosh. We're flying for it. And then you get all the others who are doing this, like. Because obviously they have to be level. So you use wedges, 4 wedges. I think it was 4 anyway, I can't remember. Or was it 3? I think it was actually 3. Have to be tipped at a certain angle for pouring purposes, obviously. Wedges and that. And make sure they're not too far forward for when they're tapped. It's obviously got to be tapped for the kegs. And it was funny, And obviously lifting heavy stuff. I could work in a brewery now. Weights, digging out mash tuns, none of that would bother me because I'm a physically active gardener, walking anything up to 15 miles in a day. And certainly grafting's not an issue at all. And maybe one day if I get fed up of gardening again and I win a lottery, then I may actually set up my own little micro brewery, micro pub, and do what the likes of Firewatt Brewing have done in Sutton Ashfield, but do it closer to home, obviously, and create something really nice, quite local. I damn well know that locally we could do it. We're in Sherwood is a fantastic area, and I mean I've been into Jenkins Bar in Sherwood, and they had Lenton Lane beers on. I think I actually know Lenton Lane personally, and that was great to see. They were in bottle, not on keg or whatever. But there's going to be, I do think that cask is king, obviously, but I do think there's going to be more of a transition to keg in future because key kegs for smaller venues that can't afford to run cask, because obviously cask has a limited shelf life. Once you crack the barrel, like one of my barrels here, you literally got 2 weeks or less, and on cask you probably got a week or so. So it's a big investment, and whereas key keg, the beer may be slightly more expensive initially, but there's no wastage. So apart from what goes through the tubes and lines, and there's something when you and these are things that I've learned, and the world of beer is so exciting. I've got to be honest, it's only a year or two so ago I actually know what the difference between cask and keggers, and I don't mind being honest and saying that, because if you don't know, you don't bloody know. And probably because of the fact that I actually didn't take no bloody notice. That's the reason why. But now I do, and I understand about key kegs and different types of kegs, and I think key kegs are great because this unlocking and relocking. And I tell you what, if I could get like a key keg system in here, that'd be bang on, especially in the winter months. Not in the summer months, too bloody warm in here. But in the winter months, it would be interesting. Autumn, winter, and spring. Certainly not summer. No, no point in summer. It's too damn hot in here. No good at all. So, enjoying this. Looking forward to seeing the where Lenton Lane go next. I'd like, if obviously anybody from Lenton Lane ever watches my videos, I have no idea. You know, half the time in local breweries, they don't even like your videos, and I have noticed how recently actually less liking them than ever. And it's like, okay, should I even bother reviewing your beers? I mean, there's no point, liking or disliking or all that. In the grand scheme of things, everyone does what they do. But I try and be physical. I try and be as much active on social media as I've got time for. But it's not easy, obviously. You can only do so much in a day. I'm not paid to do social media. So I have to work, I do beer reviews, I come home and do work, family. And, it takes its toll out of you sometimes. But you always watch and across the social media, and Lenton Lane actually are pretty good in that respect. Other breweries, sadly, very lacking. There's a couple of breweries in Nottingham that I do beer reviews of, and they never, no interaction whatsoever. And you think to yourself, and I'm not naming them breweries, but I know who they are. Maybe they just don't like my beer reviews. That I can take that. But when you actually, in some ways, promoting their beers by going on social media and like putting their name out there, whichever brewery it is. And in some ways, for me, every bit of social, it's like free advertisement in a lot of ways. And and there's one or two that never ever like or comment or anything, and that just makes me chuckle. And then you get national breweries that you do at one of their beers, and not only are they liking it, they're commenting, then they share, and it's like, wow. And these big bloody breweries with a fantastic name, and and that builds a friendship, and yeah, it's something I'll bring up in one of my beer with Wraggys, the beer reviewer thing, and there's obviously some beer reviewers who that may or may not what's the word, pee the breweries off by pouring beers down the drain, which I think is god awful. You know, I've only ever poured half a beer down the drain in 4 years of reviewing. It was a cider, and it was bad. And they redeemed themselves, that same company, because I had loads of their beers and they were all good. So it must have just been an off one, but that's the only time. And I've even drank some that have been wrenched my blooming stomach, and I've still drank it and endured it, and it was funny in the end. But they're funny beer reviews rather than, but that was an Audi thing. So yeah. So anyway, back to Lenton Lane. Apologies for going off tangent. For those coming on for a Lenton Lane Brewery beer review and thinking, why is this twat talking about other shit? Sometimes, and then sometimes it's also to give the beer a chance to breathe. Certainly more citrus on the aroma now with the grapefruit in the background. It keeps chopping and changing how it does it. Yeah. Definitely sweet, definitely a sweetness on the citrus, and then a bit of a twang from the grapefruit there. That's what I'm finding. It's certainly at the spot. I'm sweaty as hell, and I've got to let it crack back on with work now. And thank God it was only 4.9% because don't want to be drinking it too bloody strong. I've got work to do, and I've got an edge to trim, and I've got to climb up here on the ladder and do the edge. One doesn't want to be getting too abbreviated. I've done that before, and they fell off the roof, off the shed roof above me. Yeah, had a few beers, got on the roof, and then slipped. Nearly ended badly. Yes, very badly. I was lucky. You learn not to do shit like that. But in any case, that was really great. You know, like I say, they're a great brewery, modern traditional brewery for me, with a hint of craft popping in. It's going to be interesting to see where Lenton Lane go in the future. I do think that modern traditional breweries that can afford to keep their prices low in the next year, with what's happening around us, this living crisis, God willing for a shit winter. And we know we all are, you know, from residents like me to breweries, you know, because we all use gas and electric. And if the price of gas and electric goes sky high, ultimately, somewhere along the line, the beers are going to start going up in price. There's an inevitability in everything. Supermarkets, they put their prices up, but they're the arseholes, and petrol, they put their prices up. But then again, these people were winning all the way through COVID, and that's I have no respect at all for any single supermarket that rates their prices, and they could certainly drop their prices, but hey, you know, until we get a government that stops being weak and tells them, put your prices down, otherwise we'll accordingly sort it. There's ways and means to force them to do it. Gas and petrol and oil prices can be forced down if the British government got off their weak arses and sorted it out. We don't need to be controlled by the rest of the world. It's why we came out of Brexit in the first place. It's why we came out of Europe being told what to do by the rest of the world. Why? No need. I don't get told what to do by my neighbours. Never would, never will. And so why should we get to be told? It's a strange old world. Yeah. Sometimes the world just needs to whoop and not be so woof. But in any case, a good 4.3 out of 5 for me. Really enjoyed this bit. Got me talking as well. Always a good thing. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Well done, Lenton Lane. Cheers.